I got all these books and I stacked them on my end table in my bedroom in Miami Beach. And it was a lot of books, and they were very tall. And first I tried to ignore them, and then I went and I started thumbing through them. And it was a bit daunting, but before I actually did Conceived in Liberty, I actually read an Austrian perspective on the history of economic thought by Rothbard. And so that kind of traced from 2000 BC forward all of the economic thinkers. And it was kind of a story of someone comes up with a good economic idea, they get smashed down. Someone else comes up with a good economic idea that's rational, let people keep their stuff, they get smashed down. Someone else comes along. Every 100 years, there's an intelligent person in some country or some civilization that points out that if you don't steal all the property from all the people and crush them to death, it'll be good for morale and you might actually grow the economy. And always there's a little fire, and then they always get smashed down, and it goes on and on and on and on and on, all the way, up through, Locke and the liberal ideas of the Reformation Europe. And after I finished that, and that's kind of, it's inspirational but depressing, both at the same time. Rothbard does a really good job of pointing out to you that there are intelligent, rational people for thousands and thousands of years, and generally they come to no good end. But and he has, the guy's a saint because he must have had so much passion and so much energy to be able to slog through and do the research and write these stories, because normally in Hollywood, we like to see the story of the protagonist, or the hero that struggles against adversity and wins. And Rothbard, kind of writes 1,000 examples of the hero that struggles against adversity, almost wins, and then has, defeat hammered down by some ignorant, like they'll spend 40 years cultivating the next king of France, teaching him everything about intelligent economics and liberalism, and the guy's about to take over control of the country, and then he dies of a disease in 4 weeks accidentally, and they're stuck with the next guy who knows nothing. So that's the story of thousands of years of economic thought. And then I got to Conceived in Liberty, and I was very interested in that because as an American, most Americans, our study of history consists of some Europeans came to the New World. They colonized. Everything was good until the British treated them shabbily, and then they threw off the reins of tyranny, and here we are. And it's generally very simple. And there's a American Revolution. And you think that the history before is oftentimes homogeneous, or if they tell you the story, it's a very summarized narrative. They've reduced it down to one paragraph. So, so Murray Rothbard offers this book, and it is comprehensive. I mean, the first 4 volumes are 262 chapters, and it's 262 chapters of aspiration and ego and self-preservation driving some people to go to the New World to try to establish a better life. And then every single one of the stories is either a struggle against tyranny, a struggle against adversity, and ultimately power corrupting, and absolute power corrupting absolutely, and then the people all being abused, eventually abused so badly that they rebel, with most of the rebellions failing. But, first they flee the tyranny, and then they rebel, and then most of the rebellions fail. But this entire colonial experiment is this crucible of experimentation, where you've got some liberal ideas and some aspiration that's planted into, a continent And as you watch all of the different colonial experiments careen into each other and then struggle internally, I mean, they're dominated by internal power struggles, external power struggles with the Indians, power struggles with the Europeans, power struggles between the European empires, and then power struggles of domestic political nature, in the UK over and over again. You just see this careening chaos where ultimately, the hero is the liberal philosophers, the Lockean figures that planted the idea of liberty in the minds of settlers. And then the unsung heroes that generally aren't written about, they're struggling, they're running from the tyrants all the time, trying to live their life, being interfered with. And it's 262 chapters of brutal pain and struggle and tragedy, like a tragedy of ego combined or wrapped with a comedy of errors that careens toward a final revolution or a final rebellion, the last one we remember, and through that chaos rise a set of founding fathers that actually reflect the best values that we've seen of a founding nation in a long, long time, and thousands of years, where you find a set of people that do embrace some of the ideology of Locke, some of the ideology of capitalism, and establish a nation of or a country of checks and balances. But throughout, it's imperfect, corrupt, and chaotic and uncertain, and you can't help but just sit back and marvel at this crucible that incubated this nation that became an imperfect torchbearer for liberty.